Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us again tonight for our church service and our worship service. Wish I could be there with you guys. I just want to ask you if you'll just pray for me, please, and just pray that I stay um, motivated and steadfast to doing God's work because it's just real hard and real unmotivating when I can't be there with you guys. So just pray for me. And it's funny that I said that because, um, like our message tonight is going to be just about that and not giving up on ourselves. And I didn't even think about it until I started talking. It's funny how God has a way of cutting right through the murk and getting right down to business with us. Um, but if you guys will do that, I really, really appreciate it. Good grief. This has been such a long week. Sunday night, I am in New York. New York on Wednesday or Monday, and then fly back to Heflin yesterday, and then now in Tallahassee, Florida today. So, wow, it's been a very, very hectic and very busy week. So excited, though, on the progress that our church is making in our youth group. I told you guys before, I say it all the time, and I'll continue to say it until my last day there. But our mission is to save souls and baptize as many people as we can. It's about getting as many people to the kingdom of God that we possibly can. Um, and I know we all have our struggles and we all have our own pitfalls and failures and but the whole goal is to get as many people that we possibly can in Heflin to heaven. And I thank you guys so much for getting them there, getting them here, getting them to our church, so that we can love on them and we can show them and they can experience God and experience Jesus and what He done for us at the cross. And it's so amazing to think about it, and how He looked death right in the face, but yet He was unwavered and He continued to take the cross. Don't forget, next week, next Wednesday, I need you guys to turn in your pizza orders, and we'll pick those up on September 7th. And as we're talking, I'm trying to pull up on my phone our calendar for this semester that I can share with you guys. I want to go over some dates with you right quick. So if you got something to write with, do that. Write them down, and we'll have them on the board for you guys for Sunday morning. But a few things I want to let you know. Our dates: Sunday, September 4th. It's the Sunday before Labor Day. We will not have any night service, but we will be meeting at Jonathan and Carrie Adams' house that Sunday night to swim and play some table games and things like that. Also, September 23rd, we're going to have a fifth quarter lock-in. Actually, check that date. It's going to be September 30th. That's a home game. We're going to have a lock-in at our church. I want to invite as many people you guys as possible as our church can hold. Then we'll have a good a message that night, and then we'll have a night full of games and fun and things like that on September 23rd. October 22nd, we're going to go to Breakout Birmingham as a youth group. We're going to try to conquer that and have some record-breaking times. So be thinking about that. October 22nd, Breakout Birmingham. November 26th, that is Iron Bowl Saturday. The plan is for us to have an Iron Bowl watch party somewhere. That's to be determined as far as the location, but that should be fun and interesting. And then December the 27th through the 29th, we're going to Extreme Winter Conference in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Okay, I need your money turned in November 1st. All right, if you're planning on going, Your money is due November 1st. All right. Along with your shirt size. That the price is $129 per person. $129 per person. That pays for your room and for your conference entry fee. So it's actually a pretty cheap conference when you think about it. Okay. So those dates there, they'll be wrote on the board too for you Sunday morning, and then Sunday night next this coming Sunday. So remember, Sunday we're gonna have a guest speaker at our church, a candidate for a pastor. So would really like if all you guys would be there on Sunday, and also Sunday night we're gonna have a fellowship time together with him and enjoy some food after his testimony. Excuse me. What I want to talk about today for a few minutes with you, if you'll let me, is going on the topic of not giving up on ourselves and what the Bible actually says about that. The Bible is real clear on its understanding on failure and weakness and not giving up and not settling yourself short of the abundance and the abundantness of what Jesus Christ and God can offer us. And if you have your Bibles with you, we're going to read in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. So let me know when you're there. You there? Just kidding. All right. Let me read it for you. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my dear brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the Lord's work, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Be steadfast, be immovable. You know, that means to be set and grounded so much that it would take an act of God, literally, to move you. You know, using football analogies and stuff, and, you know, a defensive lineman, you tell them, hey, you know, be an immovable object, because you don't want that offensive lineman to push you off the ball, right? And to move the football. Be that immovable object. You know, it would be impossible for us to go out and put our hand on a mountain and push that mountain out of the way. And because God says that mountain is not going to move. You know, that mountain is built by God and rooted literally by God, because He built that mountain. And this verse tells us to be steadfast and immovable and always abounding in the Lord's work, and knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Meaning, your work for God, your work in Jesus, your work for the Lord is not, it's not in vain. It's not for no reason. It has purpose, and that purpose gives way, if you stay steadfast in it, to a lot of cool stuff that will come your way after the fact. We need to understand that life is not a sprint. Life is a marathon. Life is delicate. And it calls for a lot of preparation. And life calls for a lot of determination. And it also calls for a lot of perseverance. Things happen and things come in our way in our life, and really causes us to be shaken and stirred. And causes us to have to move and things, but God wants us to be rooted, and He wants us to be steadfast. He wants us to have determination and perseverance, but He also wants us to be prepared, and He wants us to have preparation, meaning you have to study the Word and be rooted in the Word in order for you to be perseverant in it, and in order for you to be determined, you have to have that preparation. You know, we need to figure out if we have a habit that's developed by giving up. At the first sign of trouble, at the first incident where somebody says something to us derogatory for walking in the light or living a life that is glorifying God. Some people don't like that, but you have to finish the act. You have to persevere. You have to press on toward that goal, right? And the goal in sight for us is a life abundant in heaven, and a life that's guided by the cross and guided by God and Jesus Christ. And and when you start to think about giving up, and when life gets tough and things get in the way and people make fun of you, when you think about giving up, you got to think about one thing, and that is that Jesus finished what he started on this planet, and we should too. And his disciples suffered for the sake of the cross. Jesus suffered because of the way he lived his life, and obviously his death, there was a plan behind it. The blood from the cross and the death from the cross was me and you's, mine and yours victory. I love that new song by David Crowder about how the death on the cross leads way to our victory, and it leads way to us, making our mark, and our position is solidified because of the cross in heaven. And we have to remain faithful to God even when times are tough, because Jesus was steadfast in his faithfulness to God. Jesus was presented with a lot of bad stuff, and Jesus lived in a time where sin was running rampant, and he lived in a time where sin was on a much smaller scale as far as the technologies and things, obviously, but sin was still playing a part and involved in the people's life that he come in contact with. And times were tough, but Jesus remained committed, and he remained steadfast to the love of God, his Father, just as so we must remain steadfast to Jesus Christ and the love that he has for us because of the sacrifice that he made for us on the cross. And despite the shame of the cross, and despite the suffering of the cross, Jesus went to it anyways, and he did it for me and you. And he persevered and he pushed through because he saw the end goal. For us, we need to stop focusing on what's going on in the world. We need to stop focusing on the society as a whole, and focus our sights upon things that glorify God and things that are in heaven. And sometimes, I understand, guys, it's 2016. I'm not blindfolded by no means. I know it's hard. It's very hard. Sometimes it's hard. But God says, remain committed to me. Remain committed to the cause. Remain committed to the purpose of the cross and what it speaks for, and its value, and what it means to the society and to this world. Stay committed to it. Times are tough. Trouble in your life is tough. Things are hard sometimes. Things are tough. But you have to persevere, and you have to push through, and you have to remember the cross, and remember that Jesus Christ is the reason for why we do what we do and say what we say and are who we are, because of the cross and because of him taking the cross. Perseverance is more than just endurance. Perseverance is more than just saying, okay, I'm going to continue on. Perseverance is combined with endurance and the absolute assurance and certainty that what we are looking for is going to happen. You see, if we didn't believe we were going to heaven, then therefore we wouldn't work as hard to get other people there. because we wouldn't see the importance of it and the assurance of it. But because we know where we're going after we die, therefore we press on and we serve others so that they can experience what we got. And the whole goal of this group and the whole goal for you guys is when times get tough and when people don't like you and when they tell you and they tell you crazy stuff and they say crazy things to you and they say derogatory things to you because you're a Jesus freak, we have to remember that our end goal, where we're going, is heaven and not this world. You see, because the grave, everybody's grave is 6 foot deep. We share the same grave dimensions. But yet, when you tell somebody that you can offer them life through salvation, through the mercy and the grace and the faith in Jesus Christ, their whole life changes. We can't be scared to tell others about what Jesus Christ has done for us. Also, we can't be scared to live our life in a way that glorifies God and shows the fruits of the Spirit daily to these people. Persevere, press on, guys. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter the struggles and strife, no matter what's going on in school, press on for Jesus Christ because He wants you to and He loves you and you need Him. Remember that He took the cross for you. He took the cross with one thing in mind, and that thing was that you will be able to get to heaven. And you'll have salvation through Jesus Christ. The challenge this week for the rest of the week, guys, is until Sunday, is be that immovable object for Jesus. Be that object that everybody wants to be around because your life glorifies Him. Be that object that perseveres and it's steadfast and abounds in the Lord's work and labors for God in a way that you do it and not in vain because you know that it's going to affect the kingdom in a positive and an influential way. Press on this week because Jesus Christ pressed on. Press on this week because the disciples pressed on. You are a disciple of Jesus Christ. Press on, persevere, have that endurance for the cross, for the labor, for the cross that Jesus Christ displayed on the cross for you. Persevere this week. Press on. Jesus Christ calls you to do that. We see it in the Bible in 1 Corinthians in chapter 15. Press on. Love Him. Take care of Him. Share Him this week. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining our service tonight in our church, and we hope that you come back on Sunday. We start at 9 a.m. right here in that same building. We'd love for you guys, if you're new, if you're visiting with us, come by, let us love on you. I promise you these sessions are not like this on Sunday mornings. We have an up close and personal. We're studying Numbers right now. Great time in our church. A great time in our youth group. We got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of cool things planned. I have a lot of fun stuff, activities for you guys. Let's go back out to these schools, share the word, get the gospel out there, get these people in our church. What do we always say? Just get them here. Just get them here. Let God do the rest. Thank you so much, guys. Remember, persevere, love Jesus, love others. Go out and serve this week. Go out and share the gospel with somebody. Thank you so much. Love you. Thank you so much for being there. Have a great week. See you on Sunday.